And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We are getting into our first qualifying match of the night, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of hard lead, we have the Chinese Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Taiwanese Zerg player, the blue Zerg, representing onside. It is Rex. And as we get ready for this series, predictions in the chat, I will open them up. One moment, please. Qualifying match. Here we go. So if you're in the chat, you have a couple of minutes to place your bets on who you think is going to be making it out and who you think is going to be qualifying here, as predictions are open for the next couple of minutes. Let's get into this. And so far, Rex has been forced to take the unnatural natural. Likewise, Firefly back at home going for a gate expand into the Cyber Core. Looking like standard openers so far. Firefly typically does thrive in the mid game, and I'm ready to see what Firefly brings to the table. Meanwhile, Rex, I'm curious because I haven't casted him in a while. Rex used to be more of a regular on this channel, but in recent times, Rex... What was I? Depressed? In recent times, in recent months, Rex did kind of take a bit of a step back. He retired, or it looked like he was going to retire, but he took a break for a couple of months. He ended up leaving Onside. He recently rejoined Onside as more of a content creator. He has been casting a lot more on his channel, which has been really cool to see. He's been enjoying the content creation side of things, but I mean, he's still in the qualifier, you know, he's still competing, he's still a damn good player. And I want to see how his style has evolved and changed over the past couple of months, and yeah, to see how he compares to a player like Firefly, who in the past I would have said is pretty similar in skill, but just because of the lull that Rex has had in his career, just because he took a bit of a step back, I'm not too sure if that's still the case. We'll see. So overall, I still want to give Firefly the edge. As for now, the probe is getting the hell out of there. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of Firefly. As to be expected, again, Firefly, I imagine it's after this Stargate opener. That's where we have to keep our eye on Firefly. Does he go for Glaive Adepts? Does he go for an 8-gate +1 Blink all in? Does he go for a mass amount of charge ult instead and go for an Archon timing? There's a lot that Firefly can bring to the table. Can and does. Now, we're just kind of waiting for that tech to kick in. It's going to be droning, saturating our bases. Adepts are going to be moving out to try to harass across the map. At the same time, Lings are moving in. Oh, but we do wall off in time. Quick moves here out of Firefly. Throws down the gateway. Another Adept is on the way. Oracle in production. And the first two will get across the map. We'll be threatening that mineral line. Won't be getting any kills yet, but we do commit to the shade. We're going to be threatening a dive into the main. We do at least confirm the hatchery in production. Meanwhile, across the map, Firefly has been able to hold. He canceled the gateway, is safe and sound, and will be expanding. We'll be going for that expansion. Lings, meanwhile, they found the Adepts. It's going to be a brutal trade if they try to engage here in the mineral line. Instead, going to be looking to chase these shades. Oracle has arrived. 2 queens are in position at the third. We have a spore on the way in the main. The natural's a little bit exposed, but there's nothing to really kill here, so it's all good. Ooh, as Firefly even baited into activating that pulsar beam. Ay, ay, ay. So nice moves out of Rex, faking out his opponents. Meanwhile, we're committing into a second Oracle and a third. Second Oracle has arrived. We're diving in towards that third. We just focus down the drones. The Spore isn't done. Spore just barely not done in time. 4 workers go down. Pretty good pickups here from Firefly. Behind this, we do have the Forge and the Twilight Council on the way. This should be +1 and Blink. We could try to go for Charge instead. That is also a possibility. Blink is a little bit more common. So I did assume that was the direction here. For Fireflies, he's hitting the field with the rest of those Adepts. So far, he hasn't lost anything this game. And now we're pushing in. So far, tumors are being knocked down. Adepts threatening a shade towards the bases. We do commit, actually. Lings, they hit us around, but the Oracles, they come in to support. They focus down the Lings, and from here, we could even try to focus down some drones. Speaking of, 2 workers go down. We shade into the natural. Queens are in position. Can we focus on some workers? Oh, we get 1. Only 1, though, and this was a pretty big commitment. That was 5 Adepts going down for 3 drones. Not really worth it. I mean, did trade with Lings, and with that, because there are so few Lings left over, Rex doesn't really have enough to counterattack. So Firefly is safe and sound. He still has plenty of Oracles. All 3 of them are still alive. And we have confirmation it is +1 and charge. And that is a gateway explosion. We're going up to 8 gateways in total. This is looking like the Archon timing that we mentioned before. Temple Archives is on the way. Soon to be Archons. Lings, they do get in. Oh no. Barely not able to deny this. Barely not in position. And they scout everything. They get eyes on the follow-up tech. Temple Archives have been spotted as well. So really big scout here for Rex. And he is going for a Roach Warren behind this. Roach is on the way. That is what he needs. Now, what's interesting about what Firefly is doing is he hasn't gone for a Robo. I was assuming that we would go for like a Prism across the map. We'd warp in these High Templar and then we'd hit with Charge Lots. But this is going to be a little bit different. We're amassing the army back at home instead. And yeah, it looks like Firefly may just be going for a bit of a longer game. It's going to take him a little bit longer to amass this army. And yep, there we go. 4th is on the way. We have confirmation. We are getting that 4th up and running. It's going to take a little bit longer for this army to really amass. And that is going to give Rex the opportunity to drone up. Now, he has droned up to 67. This is 3-base saturation, essentially. This is what looks to be a 3-base all-in out of Rex. He does have a 4th, but he hasn't droned. Not yet. Not feeling really safe to. And I don't blame him. Still just focusing on Roach Ravager. Now is not the time to push in for Firefly. Mentioned before, Rex did cut workers. Pushing into this army would not be wise here for the Protoss. Behind this, there's the Robo on the way. So again, because Firefly is taking a 4th, really what he's doing here is just poking the edges of the creep. Trying to focus on whatever tumors he can. Just posturing, vying for map control. He doesn't really want to commit. He can't commit. Not with this small army. Thankfully, Roach speed isn't done, so Rex can't really chase this down. Zealots make their way in, but they do get cleaned up. Firefly, he's just going to be settling on here in the center of the map. Rex is taking up even further towards a Hydra Den. This should be for a Lurker Den, a Hive. There it is. Hive is on the way. So Rex is working towards Hydra, Lurker, Viper. The problem with this is that I believe Firefly should hit first. I feel like this tech, it feels a little bit delayed. As Rex is just now joining up and saturating his 4th base. Firefly massing his army. And again, Firefly should be able to move out before Lurkers are ready, but we'll see. We'll see if he's able to hit that timing. Hit that +2 timing even. Stalkers are amassing. You can see Rex still just posturing with his army. And Firefly should be moving out with this. He's going to be cutting workers here at 75. Working towards that War Prism. Zealot's going to try to distract his opponent. We do catch a couple of fresh tumors, or active tumors. Not too bad. Rex getting ready for his own counterattack. There's that Lurker Den on the way. And Rex is catching these Zealots at least, which is nice. Roach Army hasn't spotted. We do focus on the Ravager, at least we try to. Okay, Ravager's going to be going down. And here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. Still only going to be harassing with Archons, though. I assume that we would move out with everything, but no, it's just Archon harass. Never mind. Which means the Lurker Den finishes, and Lurkers are going to be on the way. The Archons, they are getting work done, to be fair. A surprising amount, actually. Hydras have arrived. Oh, Prism's going to be focused down, and it will fall. Oof. We want the drones! No! They're bunching up. Oh my god, 12 workers, 13. 13 drones go down, and here come the lunkers. And I do think that Firefly just waited a little bit too long. I do think there was potential with his army to at least posture and deny the center base or even the base on the left-hand side. But now we're getting away with the lurkers. Storm just now starts here for Firefly. We have no splash damage, no disruptors, no, again, Robotics Bay, no second robo. We're getting into Sky Toss. Uh-oh. Rex, he's looking good. He's looking strong. He's moving out. Now, that is a lot of stalkers. Don't get me wrong. That's and we do focus on one of those lurkers. There is potential with Firefly's army. Picks off another lurker and another. Oh my god. Rex bleeding out quite a bit. And we get a full surround. We're trying to at least. Going for that surround, engaging with the army. So far, really good trades out of Firefly. Surprisingly good. Trying to catch out these lurkers. Again, working on that transition to Skytools. It's going to take a while for him to really get into those carriers. But yeah, this is really interesting to me. Like, Firefly is just taking more defensive position. He has his 4 bases up and running. Some workers are going to be going down. Firefly going to be able to shut down at least these roaches here on the left-hand side. Once again, he gets another 2. Oh my god, another 2, another 3 lurkers. Good target firing here out of Firefly. And Rex, I do think he's been a little bit too careless with his army. 7 lurkers have gone down. He has not been trading well. And Firefly is getting away with this. Carrier production underway, mothership as well. Firefly not looking too bad. I was concerned that he had allowed his opponent to get into Hydra Lurker Viper, but the Vipers were a little bit too late. Again, the movement with the Lurkers was a little bit too ambitious as well and was lacking. And even now, I'm not really in love with the army of Rex. Like, he has Vipers, which is good, but we have too many Roaches, I feel. Where are the Lings? I mean, ideally, you want to trade out the Roaches for Lings, just because Roaches are inflated supply. They hurt you more than help you as the game goes on. So we're investing into more Hydras. Rex will try and push on forward. Storm has been revealed. Oof. Another big storm on 2 of those lurkers. So you get a couple of yoinks coming in here. 1 Immortal's going to go down. Ooh, a High Templar as well. And an Archon. But the carriers, they have been revealed. Detection is coming in. Oh my god, we do have the slow zone of the lurkers. Big yoink, -300, but we are breaking on through. Oh my god, bit of an overextension there out of Firefly, pushing into so many lurkers. Looks like Firefly did lose his did lose one of his observers. He has the other though. Gets the revelation. This is still very tense. Do we have any storms? We do not. Once again, we are going to be trying to break on through. Big feedbacks here on the Vipers. No abductions, no parasitic bombs, or blinding clouds. The Vipers are shut down. The carrier count isn't really at critical mass, so the Hydras are actually not doing too badly, focusing down the interceptors. Up, can we break through? Oh, it's so close. The overcharge keeping these carriers alive. And it looks like we barely cannot. 1 carrier goes down. The Hydras, they have gotten on top of this Nexus. Behind this, workers are going to be transferred over. Lurkers, they're breaking through. Rex is barely making this work. We need a little bit more time to gather up more interceptors. Firefly does force this back, but he is still lacking a bank. He needs this base up and running. Teamer is going to be falling. Something that we really lacked in that previous fight and that we still lack is High Templar and Storm. You know, we need storms, and there we go. A massive warping of High Templar. We need them to help deal with all these Hydras. Carriers on their own are not enough. Not in these low numbers. A bit of lurker harass. Punishing that gas geyser. Corruptors are on the way. Spire is done. We don't have the best corruptor upgrades, unfortunately. We're just working on +1 air flyer carapace. Meanwhile, we have another lurker harassing here on the left. Hydra's pushing in. Ooh. Big storm though. We do bait out 2. Not too bad here for Rex. As he slowly sieges forward, moving forward with those spine crawlers as well. Lurkers getting in position. You have 1 storm. The carrier's breaking through, actually. Oh my god. Have to be careful. Don't want to bleed out too many interceptors. Yeah, big feedback on one of those Vipers. There's 3 left. And we're going for it. We're going for the dive. Big power bomb here on the carriers. The interceptors, though, they do fan out. Powerbomb not going to be good enough. The Hydras are falling, but the Corruptors, they break through. We get 1. We get 1 carrier. We're barely going to get us up. We don't even get the second. No shot. The carriers, they refuse to die. The overcharge is too much, and Firefly holds. He cleans up the Corruptors. Gets on top of the Lurkers as well. And it looks like Firefly may have just done it. You can see how low these carriers are. Rexy got so close there to cleaning them all up. But Firefly, he breaks through. Cleans up the Corruptors. Cleans up all the Lurkers. There are only a couple of Hydras remaining, and Hydras, they're not good enough. Yeah, and GG is going to get called. Firefly will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Firefly will barely take a lead in this series, but that was a pretty tense game there. It was really weird. Like, it felt like both players were kind of missing opportunities in a way. Like, Rex was able to somehow get away with going into Lurkers, but he wasn't able to really make use of them. He bled out 7 Lurkers before he was able to really get a stable army, just because he had so many roaches and so much dead supply, and he was pushing without Vipers as well. So Firefly was able to trade, decently well against him. Eventually getting into his own Sky Toss and carriers. And yeah, things were getting quite rowdy, quite messy. So we're now getting into game number 2. Número 2. Looking to see if we can tie this series up or extend the lead for Firefly. As a reminder, it's a best of 5. Best of 5, plenty of games are ahead of us. Plenty of games to come. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Chinese Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing onside. It is Rex. He may be down in the series, but we have plenty of games ahead of us. Plenty of opportunities to come back, to bounce back in this qualifier. I want to believe. I do want to believe. Firefly is going for his gate expand once again. Likewise, Rex not going for an early gas or early pool. Hatch first. This time, where it should be as well. No force to take any kind of awkward base. So Rex is going to have a much more stable early game leading into this. As yeah, it's going to be a hatch gas pool here out of Rex. Very standard opener here, nothing too fancy. And likewise, there's that gate expander from Firefly, everything looking as it should. Now, talking a little bit about the map Oceanborn, outside of the fact that, we're under the sea, we're underwater, true. But outside of that, the rush distance by ground is quite short, so you can be quite assertive and aggressive early on. It can be quite difficult to actually establish a 4th base, but your 3-base setup can be quite heavily fortified. You know, there are ramps and choke points coming into this. It can be difficult to break a 3-basing player. We have seen many Zerg players try to cap out at around 66 workers, 3-base saturation, and try to go for an all-in and fail on this map. So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see what comes next. For now, there is that Stargate opener here from Firefly. Just like the previous game, Stargate should be going to Oracle, should be going towards a 3rd base. This should be a standard opener out of Firefly. Now, what's important is that from this Stargate opener, we can go in a couple of different directions. Last game, we went into Charge, which wasn't really too impactful, if you remember. The Zealots didn't really do much damage. Rex was able to get into Roaches just in time. Have that Oracle production underway. So again, last game we had Charge. We could be going into +1 Blink, could be going into Glaive Adepts. That's another big possibility here for Firefly. It could even rush into Sky Toss, which I'm not too sure if Firefly is really one to do. I do feel like it's really risky to try to pull off on Oceanborn. I think it's much stronger in some of these larger maps like Alkione or Radisson Station, or even Side Delta, once we do get there. But now though, Oracle's going to be zooming out. Getting across the map, threading the main base, but we have a Spore already in position. We have 2 Queens. The natural base, likewise 2 Queens, and a Spore is on the way. Rex is looking pretty heavily fortified. Looking solid. Is going to be looking solid here. As the Oracles, they do rotate back in towards that 3rd base. It looks like we go for the dive. 3 drones go down. A lot of hull damage to one of those Oracles, but the other can stand strong, and we get another couple of drones. 5 in total. Not too bad. The Oracles, they're battered, they're bruised, but they're still alive. That is all that matters. And there is a transition. Twilight Council and a Forge once again. Just like the last game. As I said in the previous game as well, this should be for +1 and Blink, but last game we went into Charge, so yeah, there are possibilities available here for Firefly. We have options. Meanwhile, we're getting to a bit of a faster lair, or we're prioritizing the lair instead. We should be going for a Roach Horn, and there it is. Roach Horn is on the way. The way this works is the Roach Horn is lined up with the completion of the lair, so we can go straight into Roach Speed. Straight into that upgrade. As Rex is taking his gases and getting into 3-base saturation. Meanwhile, behind this, we do have +1 and Blink on the way for Firefly. It's going to be a much more standard transition. 3rd base up and running. Ooh, as the Oracles, they find a Queen. And they will bring it down. The Spore going ham, though it looks like one Oracle may go down. Oof. Getting a little bit too greedy there. What? Oh my god. Whew. One Oracle does fall. We even catch a Stalker. But we get 8 drones. Crippling the economy here. Really slowing Rex down. That is pneumatized carapace. And we see why you don't get Overlord speed without good reason. And the reason is Dropper Lords. We're going all in. I think this is a wise choice, especially after what just happened. Rex just lost a bunch of workers. He's all in. Looking at the assaults, 13, basically a mineral line. Just under a mineral line worth of drones have gone down. It's too much damage. Far too much damage. We gotta double down. We gotta go all in. Dark is a player that's really good at this. Whenever Dark does lose too many workers in this matchup, he just stops making drones. Just goes straight for Roach production instead, sends it across the map. It's all or nothing, and here we go. Queens have been loaded in. Roaches, Lings, Ravagers, all being sent out. Again, one way or another, the game will end. Firefly investing into a 4th. Uh-oh. Looking at the army, what do we have to defend? We have 7 Stalkers. That is all we have. Rex has almost triple the army supply of his opponent. And we're pushing in. We're spreading creep. We can transfuse. Overcharge is popped. Ooh, a bit prematurely. The overcharge is going to help a little bit, I guess. We are focusing on a couple of these Ravagers. There we go. Blink is done, but the overcharge runs out. It has run out. Files are being thrown down. Shield batteries are being denied. And the boys, they're going to have to be pulled. Now, we can afford to lose workers. Again, we're ahead in the economy. We were ahead in the economy. Oh, as Biles connects. Firefly, we need some warpins. We need more gateways. Links are busting into the mineral lines. Probes are going down left and right in the main base, in the natural. And Firefly, he's snowballing out of control. It looks like he has done it. He has broken through, and we have a series. Firefly just being too greedy, invested into this Nexus, but it's not going to be helping at all. And the Lings, they're not done. We killed every worker in the main, the natural. We have 10 probes left. We barely have an economy. We do focus down the Dropper Lord, which is nice. But Firefly has nothing left. GG gets called, and Rex ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, Firefly, he kind of made his bed and he had to sleep in it there as he crippled the economy, forced the hand out of Rex, and wasn't able to deal with it, wasn't able to survive. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to scout. He wasn't able to see it coming, is maybe the better way to put it. Despite his oracles, because he lost one, because he had just harassed, he didn't see the army coming across the map, so he just was not ready for it. He was unprepared. He was caught with his pants down. And with that, we're going to be getting into game number 3. Now, as a reminder, it's still a best of 5, so this is to determine who gains momentum in this series, not to determine who wins the series. It can still go either way. Well, meanwhile, we're getting some updates here. DRG Dongray Gu just 3-0 Jeshi. Very impressive result there. Getting the 3-0 DRG, one of the first to qualify for the IEM Katowice closed qualifier for the Asia region. One of the first. Do we have a first? Has anyone already qualified? I'm curious. No, he's the first. There you go. Is the first person in. It must have been a quick best of 5. Here again, we have an actual series here. We have a back and forth, which is all I ever wanted. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Hecate, we have the red Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes, the ex-player of the Platinum Heroes, the ex-starving camel. Not starving anymore. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Zerg player, the blue Zerg, representing on side, it is Rex. Here we go. Just being a little bit more assertive in that last game after taking damage, to be fair, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to pull that off here on Hecate. Something that I did mention previously is the short rush distance on Oceanborn, so it can lead into, you know, really aggressive counterattacks and very little time to react. That is less so the case here on Hecate. The rush distance by ground is a little bit longer. We have a bit of a more winding path as well, so you have more time to react. Meanwhile, Rex going for a hatch gas pool. Once again, the natural base has been taken. Openers are looking standard. I'm curious, really, Rex, he isn't really one to go for a gas first. He isn't one to rush into roaches too early in this matchup. I don't expect that to change, but we'll keep an eye on him nonetheless. I mentioned before that it's been a while since I've casted Rex regularly, so I'm still kind of being reintroduced to what he prefers in his playstyle. In game 1, he was kind of willing to embrace the late game, kind of. I say kind of because yeah, it still was a bit of a disjointed kind of way and road into Hydrovoker Viper. I do still feel like he thrives in the mid game more than anything. I see the chat. I felt a kinship between that game and my latter games. Run in, do way too much damage, take a fourth and get all in. Surprised Pikachu face. Not like this. Not like this complete. Yeah, it happens, right? It happens. You deal all this damage, you're on cloud 9, you know, you're Gumiho. You're feeling good about everything, about life. And then bam! Oh, all in. It can be hard to read. It can be hard to keep an eye on. That's why even if you deal some crippling damage, you know, it's not over for your opponents. They do have a chance. There are ways to come back, to bounce back, to take the game. Rex, he saw his win condition. Behind this, once again, Stargate Opener out of Firefly. It's going to be the Stargate Opener into Oracles. Adepts are going to be active, harassing across the map. Threatening a dive. Making their way towards that natural. Lings are in position. They're going to be shaved off, though. Oh, we do clean up the Lings. We get into the mineral line. We do cancel the shade. One drone goes down. A second drone as well. Can we get a third? Up. Oh my god, we force out the spore. Rex will maintain his economy. Adept will escape. That was quite a bit of lost mining time as well. Pretty good amount of damage for 2 adepts. Or for 1 adept. Pretty good overall. You can see Firefly racing back home. A little bit afraid of a counterattack. As he does expand and take his third. Lings have arrived. But the adepts are in position. Really good kind of shifting of the adepts as well. Pulling back the weakened one. Looking solid. As the Oracle heads into that natural base once again. He gets one more probe. One more drone. Before being forced out. And ooh, Rex, it's going to be his turn to spice things up. I mean, sure, we did see an all-in last game, but that was more of a reactive all-in. Rex this time is being more assertive, going for a faster Evo chamber. I'm curious. This should be for +1 melee, but we'll see. These +1 melee styles, they have fallen out of favor, especially with the new patch. Ooh, unfortunate for those drones, though. They do get caught off guard. Oh, we want another. And we do get one more drone in the main. We get a second as well. 4 workers in total. There it is. Melee is in production. And this Oracles are recalled. We have a +1 and a Twilight Council on the way for Blink, I imagine. Bit of a gateway explosion going up to 6 gateways. Third Oracle arrives, getting a 1 extra drone. Oh, they get a second. Oh my god, down to 4 HP. Barely escapes. Ay. We'll make it back home. But yeah, we have a 6 gate set up. We should be getting into our upgrades. Getting saturated on 3 bases. There is +1 on the way, and we should be seeing Blink alongside it. There is that Blink. Now again, it's only 6 gateways, so this should be a much to assert yourselves, to be a little bit aggressive, a little bit assertive. Not designed to really commit. The Oracles, they make their way in between the bases once again. Oh, so softened up, so low. And I mentioned that +1 melee upgrade earlier. We are amassing Lings. We should be able to get across the map, and the goal here is to try to gain map control. Maybe even try to get some damage done here at this third. Lair is on the way. No Roach Warren yet. If we do take additional gases, we could go Ling Hydra, which does very nicely against Blink Stalker based compositions. Here we go, the Lings are moving out. Just going to be threatening this third. We don't quite get a surround. Meanwhile, Lings, they do get into the natural. The wall. The wall is not a wall. Firefly doing his best hero impression, but we did a move on the Nexus itself. We do get into the middle line with +1 melee. Probes are going down. We have 5 workers in total. Lings forced out of the natural. At the same time, Firefly is forced to counterattack. He is expanding behind this. He's not all in. Again, he only has 6 gateways. But he wants to try to get some damage done. Pushing very deep onto creep. This is a bold move out of Firefly. Another Ling counterattack. The wall this time is looking solid. We get 1 queen. Lings, they do threaten that fourth. Lings trying to break through into the natural. The Lings, they get us around, and they trade so well against these Stalkers. Ooh, Firefly bleeding out so much. Another Stalker goes down. Expensive losses for the Protoss. But reinforcements have arrived. We're trying to get on top of these Queens, and it looks like we will. Up the transfuse. Not quite. The Queens, they barely do escape, but we need more Lings. And the Queens are being focused out one after the other. There is no Hive behind this. GG gets called. I was going to say there's no hydrogen behind him. My apologies. And Firefly barely snowballs out of control. He breaks the third. He takes a lead. GG. GG, well played. Firefly were able to barely snowball out of control there. The Lings were getting damage done, don't get me wrong. They were catching Stalkers, they were getting to the mineral lines, they were trading well. The problem though is unfortunately there was no kind of backbone to the army. We had Lings, but we didn't have a massive amount of Hydras, Roaches, or Queens behind it. So as we were losing Lings, we didn't quite have the production, the lava to actually sustain these losses and to keep things going. Not yet. Rex couldn't quite sustain himself and was broken in the end. Just barely. And with that Firefly, he needs one more Uno Mas to qualify for the closed qualifiers. Meanwhile, Rex needs one more to force the ace match. He needs to fight back here and now to force game number 5. Let's go. Let us go. As we already had our first qualified player, but I think there's only one so far. I think the rest of the bracket is still... Oh, no, we have our second. Ryung, as to be expected, did qualify over Mana. Mana took a game, though, so impressive stuff. Yeah. I wasn't sure if Mana could kind of make a series out of that, so at least it was able to take a game. No shame in that. But Ryung is the second player to make it through. And here we go. We're getting into potentially the final game of this series. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have a Taiwanese Zerg player down in this series looking to force the ace match. Representing onside, it is Rex. Here we go. And you can try to be a little bit greedier on a map like Golden Aura. You can try to cut some corners. We'll see if Rex opts to try to do so. For now, looking to be a hatch gas pool opener. Firefly getting across the map, going for his probe scouts. Confirming the opener for himself. No fast gases, no fast pool. Oh, everything is on the up and up. Monty Python reference. I haven't. You know what? I haven't seen all of the Monty Python movies. I've seen like the classics, like Holy Grail and Life of Brian or Brian, I think. Not all of them though. Not all of them. One day. One day, man. So now we're settling into this, and yeah, looks like we're kind of easing into Golden Aura. Now, some of the features of Golden Aura as well, other than the gold base, which I don't think the gold is going to come into play, not in this series, on this matchup, but it's possible. You know, bear that in mind, in the back of our minds, that the gold is available. Outside of that, our 3-base setup is very secure, very safe. It's very easy for a player to establish themselves on these 3 bases. The 4th is a little bit more exposed, especially if we expand towards the south, or towards linearly, I should say. We'll see how things do end up there. We have seen a lot of split map scenarios on this map, a lot of late game on Golden Aura. Despite how small it is. But we've seen a lot of aggression so far between these two players. Stargate is on the way. Oh, and this time we're mixing it up. We're going for a Void Ray opener. Okay. It's going to be a Void Ray opener to shut down these Overlords, and behind this, we could go into a third base, and +1 on Blink, we can go into a standard follow-up, or we could end up going towards something a little bit different. We could end up heading into a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. We could go into Glaive at Epps. The problem here for Rex is that he's about to lose his Overlord, and it's going to be very difficult to scout what comes next. Could be anything, it could be nothing. The Overlord is going to be falling. Does not scout that Oracle. Give me the Oracle on the way, which means we should be working towards a third base. Third is being thrown down. I'm really just getting my eyes, or trying to keep my eyes out for what tech follows this up. Whether it's a Twilight Council, Stargate, even a Robo follow-up. All can lead into different forms of aggression. Twilight Council's on the way. And there is the Forge. So this is looking quite standard, actually. +1 on the horizon. We are only investing into one Oracle. We're not getting a second. So we're going to be cutting some corners. Void Ray going to be threatening that third base. Oracle goes straight for the natural. Gets one drone. Only a single worker. Up! Up! Oh my god. Does overextend and barely doesn't get a second, but does rotate towards the third, and we find another 2 drones. We get what? We get 2. The third worker will survive. And Firefly gets the hell out of there. Behind this, it's going to be +1 and charge, not Blink on the way. So we can try to hit a timing with this. We'll keep an eye on the gateway count. We'll keep an eye on the timing of the Templar Archives. We have seen some Protoss players hit some very crisp timings with Charge Ults and Archons. Try to snowball out of control. Speaking of a gateway explosion, there it is. 6 gates on the way in addition to the 2 that we already have. That's going to be 8 gates in total. We saw something very similar on hard lead, if you remember, where Firefly did go for an 8-gate explosion on hard lead, but he didn't actually really commit. He threatened the bases, but didn't really try to push in and try to break any 3rd or 4th base. It was just a threaten, and eventually he transitioned out of this. The big tell for me is the lack of Robo. There's no Robo, which means no War Prism, no way to reinforce. Sure, we're working towards Charge Archon, but yeah, we'll see how assertive we really intend to be. The Oracle is moving out. Once again, heading towards some of these fringe bases. Void Ray going ham on this hatchery, dragging the queens out of position. Oh my god. Thankfully, we do react in time. Stasis Trap gets baited out by the Spore. Oh no, but we still get drones. 3 workers go down. Void Ray does escape. We're getting even more damage done. Meanwhile, Firefly, he is going for that timing. So I guess this makes sense on Golden Aura. So this is the kind of push that I expect to see with a Warp Prism. But because the rush distance by ground on Golden Aura is so short, we can move out. We have been spotted. Zella does spot this. We have a couple of roaches already done. 5 more roaches on the way. The Archons, they go straight for the mineral line, and we're just trapping the Queens. Queen's going to be falling. There just aren't enough roaches either. The drones, we're going straight for the workers. The target firing up. 11, 12. 14 drones go down. The Archons intentionally going for the workers here. Behind this, we're expanding, and it looks like we may just snowball out of control. The Queens are falling left and right. Looks like the roaches will eventually clean this up, but the damage has been done. That is 16 dead workers. Oh my, the Void Ray! We even killed the 4th base. Not like this. Rex being pulled apart. More Zealots just rushing into the natural. A little bit wasteful here. These Zealots should go down, but we are distracting the army. And Firefly behind this is going to be working towards Blink and +2. And Rex, he just wasn't quite ready for this. Didn't have his roaches out in time. Was mere seconds away from amassing a proper roach army. And now Rex is in a very difficult position. He's droning. He's not going all in like we saw previously. He is resaturating his 3rd, which means Rex is going to be trying to play from behind. He has a lot of catching up to do. Saturate the 3rd, rebuild his 4th. Meanwhile, Firefly, he's up a base. He's up a base, he's up in workers. A Protoss player ahead in economy in a PvZ is a terrifying sight. Now, there are ways to come back here for Rex. Oh no! As the queen goes down. I was going to say that we can try to rush into tech. We can try to go into a fast lurker den on lair tech even. We have the infestation pit, so we can maybe even go into infestors. We have seen Dark in times past go into infestors for some cheeky fungals. We're going into swarm hosts. Oh my god. This is out of left field. But I like this just because, again, we need to do something different. We need to do something out of... or to catch the Protoss player off guard. But I'm concerned because here comes the army. And we're hitting a timing with Blink and +2. A very crisp attack here from Firefly. And he's pushing on through. He gets here just before the Swarm Host. GG gets called. And Firefly will take the series 3-1, qualifying for IEM Katowice, the Asia Closed Qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Firefly, he will take it here. Again, Rex was able to force a series out of this, and we had more of a back and forth overall, and I do think there was a lot of potential in Hecate. I think Hecate was actually really close. I do think that Hecate was actually really close, and it was so on a knife's edge. Like, if Rex was able to buy a little bit more time, he would have been able to stabilize and survive and make it through, but alas, did go the way of Firefly in the end. And congratulations. Again, Firefly, he came in as the favorite player. He came in as the favorite player in the end and is going to be making it through. We have some more updates, by the way. Oh my god. We have some catching up to do. From the top.